my gosh! The architecture is incredible! I love it! Look at these columns! Wendy, are you seeing this?
No!
Why not? Oh, that's right, I forgot. I'm sorry. You're Lady Justice, you can't see anything. You got a blindfold on.
Of course.
Well, I'm coming down, so just hold up because you're not going to believe who we have confessing in the car today.
Who do we have?
John Giardinelli.
Oh,
I know.
he's big time.
I know,
He's a big time attorney.
I don't know how it happened, but we got him in the car. So super excited. You guys are going to really get some really good information. So
Yeah, he works with California Association of Realtors and all their paperwork and what we work with our contracts.
and the new laws and all that stuff. He's talking about stuff. So
Right.
see you in a bit.
Come on back. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We have Barbara Horan in the car.
Hey,
She's our broker of Move Home Realty, and she brought along a guest.
I did. So John Giardinelli is in the front seat, the hot seat we call it, and he's
like
going to
that.
talk to us about a few things. The first thing is about sexual harassment.
Woohoo! Sexual harassment.
Well, it's a hot topic. There's no doubt about that. I don't know. The best thing I can say about it is, number one, is that it's real. That if a woman is, treated improperly and inappropriately, then she has a right to bring a claim against her employer, against a customer, against an independent contractor, pretty much anyone who treats her inappropriately. Primarily, it's an employer-related issue. Employers have an obligation to provide a safe and healthy working environment, and so that's a real big issue. The problem, I think, is that because it's such a poorly drafted piece of legislation, what ends up happening is you see a lot of frivolous lawsuits, which is a real disservice, because when you get a frivolous lawsuit, then people tend to think, well, she's in it for the money, or she's just trying to, hang up her boss or something like that. That these kinds of claims are made by these terrible bottom-feeding lawyers. On the other hand,
did you really just say that?
I just really said that.
really
I
said
am
that.
so proud of you. Every member, I know lots and lots of realtors, and there's 95% of them are great realtors, but just like my profession, you guys have your bad ones, and they seem to mess up the pot for everybody else. But back to sexual harassment, the real key issue is if someone makes a claim, the employer has an absolute obligation to investigate it, and there are very severe restrictions on how that's to be done. So my suggestion is you take it seriously, and if someone makes a claim of any kind, even if it comes from another person about a person because maybe she's too shy or too intimidated, and we've had claims where young women have been accosted. Well, we had one situation where the guy walks up to her and says, "Is that your wedding ring?" And she's in an employment position, and the guy asked her, "Is that her wedding ring?" And she said yes, because he said, "Well, if it's not, I'd like to," and then he made an inappropriate remark. So you get stupid people like that making comments like that, but then you have real legitimate situations where, and we've all read about them, and I've had a few situations where primarily women, although a third of the claims are filed by men, where a woman was told if she didn't do certain things, the job, the bonus, the promotion wouldn't be hers. No woman should have to, put herself in a position where she compromises herself in order to get a promotion, get a job, keep a job, or anything like that. No man should have to do that, and that's something that's really changing.
Let's talk about dual agency.
It is absolutely perfectly legal in California. Many consumers want the seller's agent, the so-called listing agent, to represent both sides. That's a consumer choice. The problem with dual agency is a lot of agents tend to think they're going to hide information about the property in order that they can be a dual agent.
Yeah, I can see
absolutely inappropriate in lots of levels, Department of Real Estate, the boards of realtors, and the clients themselves. Number two is, and I think this is the key, is when you're a dual agent, you have fiduciary responsibilities to both the seller and the buyer. That means you have the highest obligations allowed by law. The highest is a spouse to a spouse, but after that you have lawyers, realtors, and others that have fiduciary duty. And it's been my experience that the problem is, how do you stay neutral? How do you not take a side? It's all great when there's a contract that's up for negotiation. The seller wants to sell, the buyer wants to buy. You put together the deal. The RPA almost becomes a prenuptial agreement. The reality is that
because you only have to fight with yourself to get things done on time.
Well, that's true. And the trouble, of course, is that if something in the transaction goes sideways, which side do you pick?
Yeah, which side do the ball?
And so the other thing, of course, is that information becomes critical and how you share it with each other. And so while I understand it's perfectly legitimate, and in some cases the consumer makes the choice, too often I hear about consumers that weren't aware that another broker had bought a potential buyer in, and they never heard about it because the agent's trying to double end the deal. Yeah. And so
so you walk a fine line then.
It's a fine line. The National Association of Realtors has indicated that it's from an insurance and from a liability standpoint, it's the number one reason realtors will get sued. But on the other hand, it is perfectly legitimate and perfectly allowed by law in California. Not true in a number of states. In many states, it's actually not allowable at law. It really is a consumer issue. The consumer should be able to make a choice who they want to represent them. And if I want to have Barbara represent me, even though she's the listing agent, I ought to have that choice.
Well, I'll tell you, we are so happy that you gave us a moment of your time.
Thank you.
Is that $1,000 bill? I'm not sure.
No, I'm going to give you a discount. It's $950. No.
Dang, lucky
No, this one's on me. So,
John,
all joking aside, Barbara, you've been a great asset in my career and a great friend. So I was honored to do it. I'm great to admit
Well,
you.
and we're really lucky.
Thank you so
We're
much.
really,
You
really
too, young
lucky.
lady.
Thank you, John. Love you much.
Thank you so much.
All right, I'm out of here.
To you, all the California agents, you need to not wait till the last minute to study your contract that's going to be coming out. You need to study early, have your broker teach you what's going on, and don't forget, when you want to keep learning about the things that are coming up, come to our channel and like, share, and subscribe.
Oh, it's
And then ring the bell, ding.
All right.
Bye.
All right, thanks.